Consistent effort dooms the Islanders as they fall 3-2 to the LA Kings. We have our key takeaways plus previews of both of this weekend's game, and the Islanders' first ever draft choice in team history is our Islanders' birthday of the day. All that and more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the weekend edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. So glad you could join us and be part of the Locked On Islanders family. And thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Disappointing performance by the New York Islanders on Thursday night at the UBS Arena. They fall to the LA Kings by a score of 3-2 and just did not give enough. We'll have our key takeaways from this game, but overall did not get the job done, and we'll explain why. We'll also preview both Saturday's game against Seattle, Sunday's game against the Minnesota Wild. Two very important games for the Islanders, as each loss means their margin for error is smaller and smaller. And we have the Islanders' first ever draft choice in team history is our Islanders' birthday of the day. If you have something Islanders related on your mind, you have a question, a comment, a topic that you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to send us an email. The email address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we are happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is you'd like us to talk about. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYR, VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, and I am live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. So I'll give instant insight and analysis, and always happy to interact with fans and talk about what's going on the ice or elsewhere. So please feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Again, Ice Wars, NYR, VSNYI, and I'll be live tweeting during all the games. Let's start with what happened Thursday night at the UBS Arena. Islanders fall to the LA Kings. Final score. The problem with this game, more than anything, 48 minutes test, the just subtext to them. But at the end of the day, didn't their best 7 minutes or so of it good, but by then we're already down 2-0. It's too late. And look, this is an Islanders team that's not that different from the team that went to conference final in each of the last 2 years. But this team has never been about, oh, we're so talented, we're so good, we can just show up, come out, and hockey games. Put effort out. There ebbs and flows in every game. Going to dominate for 60 minutes. You got to have a little bit of urgency and a little bit of patience. And the Islanders just came in this game and were flat. And they have 3 shots on the first period, 14 or 15 after 2 periods. That's just not really going to get done. And yeah, there were posts. Dobson hit a post. Pelech hit a post. Salo hit a post. There were a few chances in the first 50 minutes of the game, but not enough. And again, go over the shots on goal. At the end of the game, the Islanders finished shots on goal, but these guys didn't have one shot on goal. Brock Nelson, no shots on goal. Anthony Beauvillier, one shot. That's 3 of your top 6 forwards right there with a grand total of 2 shots on goal. That's not going to get the job done over the course of a hockey game. You may be able to beat the Arizona Coyotes or a team like the Philadelphia Flyers that's just slumping right now, that's not playing great hockey. But if you don't bring it game in and game out against a good team, not a great team, but a good team like the LA Kings, you're not going to win. And the second biggest factor and it's not going to look that way if you look at the box score, Semyon Varlamov, he gave up only 2 goals, right? Because one of the Kings' goals was an empty netter. But both of those goals were not good goals to give up. They were situations, one early on in the game and one late period. Quentin Byfield gets his first NHL goal. But again, Varlamov didn't play the angle well. And on the second goal, which was in with 5 seconds and change in the second period, it was a momentum crush. Well, again, Varlamov too far back in his net, did not come out and play the angle. It almost seemed like Varley was like, okay, the period's over. And he was not sharp out there when he had to face that shot. Bam. 2-0. The difference, say this right now, straight up. If the Islanders were only down 1-0 after 2 periods, they probably win this hockey game or at least get a point in this hockey game. But being down 2-0 heading into that third period set up a real problem for the Islanders, and they're unable to overcome it. They need a better performance from Varlamov. Yeah, you look at the box score, and it says face 9 shots, made 27 saves. That's a .931 save percentage. Good performance, right? But it's not only how many you give up, it's how you give them up and when you give them up. And for Semyon Varlamov in this game, he gave them up at the wrong time, late in the second period, especially that second goal. And also both of those goals are really, had he played it the way he should have played it, wouldn't have given them up. Now, not trying to take away from the shooters, but overall not enough there for Varley. And at times it did look like he was fighting the puck. Not so much that he didn't stop it, as much as he didn't seem to cover his rebounds well, control the puck as well. So, there was that. Some good news, Kyle Palmieri, off injured list, back in the lineup, did not figure in the scoring, 2 shots, a -1 in this one. Didn't play as many minutes as he would. Wasn't on the top line, but again, all of that is kind of to be expected under the Sir Palmeri out there for 13 minutes and 12 seconds. Casey Cizikas, his 3rd goal in the last 4 games or something like that. So Zeke getting back in it. And Barzal, nice goal by Barzy, but too much of this game, we saw Matthew Barzal holding on to the puck, skating around, holding on to the puck, but staying on the perimeter, not shooting, not passing, not penetrating, not setting up anything. You do that on the power play. It's almost like you're killing your own penalty off, your own power play. Barzy has to be doing what he does, holding on to the puck the way he does, and he's great at it, but it has to have a purpose. It can't just be, look at me, I have a skill set. It has to be, I'm going to hold on to the puck and create space for my teammate and then get my teammate the puck. Or I'm going to do it with this. Or I'm going to go, I'm going to try to go to that and maybe do a drop pass. It has to create something. You can't just skate and hold on to the puck for the sake of doing it. There has to be a point and Barzy too often, especially again in that first 40 minutes, did not seem to be playing that way. Now in the third period, it was great, and he had some moments, but overall, just not enough of New York Islanders. Shout out to Cal Clutterbuck on this game for Clutter, but overall, the effort not, and the Islanders fall short through. Have a preview of this weekend's games. Saturday against the Kraken, first ever meeting between the Islanders and Seattle, and Minnesota Wild. Islanders' birthday. You buy your friends at Built Bar. It's the new year, and that means sure you include Built Bar in your plan. Built Bar is the protein like a candy bar, maybe even better than a candy bar. And Built Bar makes it easier to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good you'll actually want to eat it. Other protein bars can be chalky or waxy or even taste like a chemical spill. But Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate, and most Built Bars contain just 130 calories, only 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, but pack 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. And there's so many great flavors to choose from: coconut almond, peanut butter brownie, raspberry, cookies and cream. I love the salted caramel, mint brownie, and many more. In fact, Built is always coming out with new limited time flavors, so check out Built.com often to see what's new. Head to Built.com, use the promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. 2 games this weekend coming up for the New York Islanders, and I'm telling you, they got to get at least 3 points from these 2 games. Now, first game will be played will be Kraken. And the Islanders, look, Seattle is an expansion team. We know that. They how quickly they successful. Seattle through their schedule right game. They're going to play the Islanders Saturday. They're going to play the Rangers Sunday, and then the Bruins next week to road trip. But overall, the Kraken playing a little bit better as of late. You know, they've won 3 of their last 5 and beating the Penguins 2-1 after being down 1-0 is definitely a plus. But here's Seattle. 12 games under NHL 500, 25th in the league in goals, 30th in goals against. Power play is only 23rd. The penalty kill 20th. They are not a team. Philip Grubauer is their starting goaltender. And, an 883 save percentage and a 328 goals against average. Not exactly lights out kind of numbers. Jared McCann, their leading scorer with 16 goals in 37 games. He has also 25 points to lead the team. Alex Wenberg has 16 assists. That's high on the team right now. And, they do have balance on scoring. Jordan Eberle, a very familiar face for Islander fans, second on the team with a dozen goals and 24 points. So he's second in goals scored, second in points. He's also a minus 18. So there's that. But overall, Seattle, you can't take them lightly. You're going to have to play well. But they're still trying to sort of figure out their culture and figure out. And the Islanders got to pick up 2 points if you hope to get back to the playoff fight. Their line combinations, top line, Jared McCann with Marcus Johansson and Jordan Eberle on either side of him. the thing is, he's outscoring Kyle Palmieri by quite a line for Seattle. Yanni Gord with Yarkrock and Mason Appleton. Him and Berglund. And Jeremy Lauer and Covers are listed as day-to-day out for them. I'll say it'll be the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota plays in Central Division, both hand on other teams. So the Islanders do now play the Rangers on Friday. So we don't know what their last game is going to be like, but they'll have Saturday off, and then they'll face the Islanders on Sunday. So the Islanders will be back to back, although at home. And Minnesota, well, they'll have a day off, and they're only going from Madison Square Garden to the UBS Arena, not very far. But right now, 3 wins in a row for Minnesota heading into that Ranger game. And they have been playing some darn good hockey. Cam Talbot, the ex-New York Ranger, is their starting goalie, with Capo Kakinen also playing rather well. In fact, Kakinen has better numbers than Talbot right now. And both 5th in the league in goals scored, 8th in goals against. They are good both sides of the ice. Power play, though, only 21st in the league. Penalty kill 17th. Cyril Kipritsov, he is their leading point getter. Matt Zuccarello, again, a former Ranger, 2nd on the team in points and 1st with 26 assists. And again, I guess, this game certainly would have more meaning for a player like Zach Parise, who spent so much time in Wild organization for the Wild. As the eliminations are chemistry overall, and sharp to shut them. They didn't get that job done when they put in, so now they have and get it done when Minnesota comes to the UBS. And it won't be easy, but if you get back in the playoffs, get at least a point, games against teams like Minnesota, who are teams that will probably make the playoffs. Their line combinations: Ryan Hartman centering Kiprasov, Gorello on the top line, Redrick Goudreau is the second line center, Fiala and Matt Boldy on his wings. Joel Erickson centers the third line, Marcus Foligno to his left, Jordan Way to the right, Nico from Haim on either side of him. Gossard Spurgeon are the top defensemen, and Matthew Dumba the second on Merrill, and Dmitry Kulik. But those are the losses. Those are the 2 teams. Again, Island at least 3 points, because losses start to really add up. These regulation losses really hurt me right now. When we come back, we will have first Islanders podcast. So it's brought to you by your friends at BetOnline. I would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. It's a new year, and they've got a new updated desktop and mobile website. So sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code LOCKEDON to get started. That's locked on, one word. And yes, BetOnline will give you that 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Free money to use on site because you listen to the Locked On Islanders podcast. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. So check out BetOnline, where the game starts. Time now for our Islanders birthday of we go to history. Let's see the 70th the nature Toronto, Ontario, 72 NHL amateur draft. And he had 4 really good movies of the 3 games. 2 goals in 96 and 70 points. But, you know, every year up until 77, 78, had more than 20 goals. For the 879, it fell to 15 goals and 54 points. And then at the trade deadline, Billy Harris in 1979-80 traded in the Butch Gould deal. So Harris with the Islanders in 1979-80, but not for the playoffs, and got shipped out to LA, lasted 1 full season and parts of 2 others before heading to a town team, the Maple Leafs, and then finished his career with a brief stint with the Kings again in 83-84. Billy Harris, 897 NHL games, 231 goals, 558, 94 penalty minutes, 71 playoff games, 19 goals, and 38 points. But, you know, Harris was a big part of Islanders' early years. Part of the reason that this team became a contender so quickly, it was one piece that the Islanders never really had to worry about early on. You could always sort of pencil him in. We're going to go back and look at one of his better moments with the Islanders. May 3rd, 1977, the Stanley Cup semifinals, game number 5. Islanders trailing in the series 3-1, having to head up to the Montreal Forum. Now, you got to remember, the Canadiens were the defending Stanley Cup champions that year, and they were on their way to winning another one. But the Islanders were going to not go down without a fight as they faced elimination. Chico Resch in goal for the Islanders against Ken Dryden, the Hall of Famer, in between the pipes for the Habs. In the first period, Islanders get on the board first. Rick Chartraw off for holding, and J.P. Parise, Zach's dad, gets a power play goal, his 4th. Pat Price, and our Islanders' birthday of the day, Billy Harris, with the assist. 1-0 Islanders answer less than a minute later. 57 seconds later, Jacques Lemaire, the future coach of the New Jersey and Minnesota Wild, he gets his 3rd of the playoffs. Steve Shutt and Rick Chartraw with the assist. 1 after 1. Montreal takes the lead early. Second, Mario Tremblay is first from Doug Risebrough and Yvon Lambert at 3:27. But the Islanders are in the late stages of the period. Chris Potvin, his 5th from Jude Drouin and Ed Westfall at 18:11. After 40 minutes, Islanders 2 and the Canadiens 2. Montreal goes back on top in the 3rd. Yvon Lambert, his 1st from Larry Robinson and Guy Lafleur. That makes it 3-2 Habs at 11:38 of the 3rd. but the Islanders tie it less than a minute and a half later. Jude Drouin is fifth from J.P. Parise and Dave Lewis. We head to overtime, and less than 4 minutes in, the game winner in OT, Billy Harris, our Islanders' birthday of the day, his seventh from Dave Lewis. Islanders stay alive in this one and force a sixth game back at the Nassau Coliseum. Final score, Islanders 4 and the Canadiens 3 for Billy Harris. 1 goal, 1 assist. He was a +1. Had 2 penalty minutes in this one. 5 shots on goal, which led the Islanders in this game. Islanders only had 19 shots as a team, and Billy Harris had 5 of them. Those great Canadiens teams could really slow you down, but Billy Harris, the playoff overtime game winner, to extend the Islanders' season. He is our Islanders' birthday. We wish him a very happy 70th birthday on Saturday. Hopefully, the Islanders come up with some better way to talk about it. We'll have our key takeaways and preview all of the Islanders' upcoming games. Thanks again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets is your one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. It's hosted by your boy Q with expert insight and analysis by Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Have a great weekend, everybody. Safe, and of course, let's go Islanders.